For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new tent from Telta. So with me today I've got the Telte Universal tent and awning pump. So the pump's been designed quite cleverly in a way of something being the most efficient way of kind of putting up an inflatable product, be it something like a tent and awning, inflatable kayak. It's been made to be quite versatile. And is in many ways kind of comparable to kind of the Dometic Gale pump, which we've known and loved for a long time. So it's almost very similar to that, but we've got some kind of improvements in comparison to that as well, which is quite nice. It runs off a 12-volt cigarette lighter, so we've got a little point at the back which actually holds the cable nice and tightly in there. But what I'm going to do is actually do a bit of a test run. We're going to put it onto one of Telta's new Scenics. So for this, I've just basically plugged a 12-volt cigarette lighter into kind of just onto a leisure battery, just for the purpose of it. Now we've actually got a digital display on here. Now the recommendation for most kind of the awning pressures is about 9 psi. So we're going to basically test it to that point. So I'll give you a bit of a rough idea of how quick it is to go. So we'll just set digital display, so we literally can go up in sort of half psi increments. And there's also a point there where you can look at the change of the bar or alternatively. So I've set it off now. One of the joys of this actually in terms of the pump in terms of its functionality is very efficient at getting a lot of air in, but also more importantly when it gets to the volume into the actual product, it ramps the pressure up really quite nicely. So naturally it runs around about 32 decibels, so it's a little bit of a noisy point, but because obviously it gets so much air in, it does the job really nice and quickly. As it comes with a cigarette lighter, obviously you can plug it into your car, your caravan, or whatever you need to do to actually power it. And what you also find as well actually is there's a good amount of cable literally on there around. You're talking pushing close to sort of 5 meters or so, so it means you can stretch that point. Plus the nozzle itself is running around about a meter as well. Because we've got a digital display, we can obviously tune it to whatever PSI we want it to. As soon as it gets to that PSI, it will automatically shut off as well. So the joy is that means actually it gets to that point, cuts off. It basically stops you from ever having to kind of overinflate it for any reason as such. Now, the joys of having obviously with a pump like this, it runs at a single inflation point, so obviously there and spreads it across as it quite needs to. When you do get to around about sort of the 3 or 4 psi mark, I'd recommend just going in, help it into shape, and that will really help to sort of distribute the air thoroughly inside of it. So currently we're running about 2.1 psi. Depending on how big you want the awning is, obviously changes the actual time it takes to put the actual thing up. So we're at 2.6 psi right now. What I might do is just give it a little bit of a helping hand just to kind of get into shape, and that will help just to get a bit more volume directly into it. So we've got the front up. There you go. So now it's physically up. It has to carry on cranking that pressure up until we get to that magic near 9 psi as we have set it. Now, the joys of this actually means you can slide your sort of awning into your rail or your tent, put it on, press the button, let that do the hard work so you haven't got to worry about manually doing it. I would actually say probably it is going to be a little bit slower than using a physical manual pump, in my personal opinion, but as you can see here, you can sit back, relax, let it do the work, let it do the hard shit, and more accurately, one thing you do find with the manual pumps is actually on the pressure gauge itself, it's really quite hard to determine how accurate you are where you are the pressure. With this being a digital display and it has its own individual kind of points, it's very easy to sort of, it will obviously cut off exactly when it cuts off to. And I find certainly when you do get to those higher pressures, certainly with the caravan awnings, it's hard to get to that sort of to that 9 psi you really want to, and it is a bit of a fight. Naturally, with a kind of a manual pump, you find you sort of exert yourself, putting the volume into it, and when you get the higher pressure, then you're fighting that higher pressure resistance on the pump, and that's where you've kind of exhausted yourself. Where electric pump, you can kind of get away with that yourself. Now, there is the ability of actually it comes with 8 different nozzles. So regardless of what kind of tent, awning, or paddleboard that you kind of have, it can pretty much do anything on the anything on the market. So you don't have to have a Telta branded awning or tent for it to then do the pump itself. So the pump is more than compatible with anything like your Telta, your Vango, your Outrider, your Outdoor Revolutions, your Berghouses, any sort of paddleboard pretty much on the market. You can also do your airbeds from it. You can do inflatable dinghies because it's got a special kind of nozzle, armbands. Again, your world's your oyster in that sense, so works really quite nicely. Small compact unit, as standard. It comes with just a very nice basic storage bag, so it means you can get everything nicely into there. You haven't got to buy it additionally like you have with other kind of models as well. There's a really nice sort of carry handle built onto it as well, with a nice sort of webbing strap. So again, something easy to hang and bring it through the point out. Now, you could, in theory, if you want to use it on kind of if you haven't got mains power for any reason, I mean, more often than not, you probably have got your car there, but there are a range of kind of little power bank units. So in theory, you can make this and take this out and about wherever you see fit. Like I say, you can still kind of crank it up. This is probably one of the more large awnings you'll find in the market, certainly in terms of the overall size of it, but also in terms of the actual volume itself. Now, if you're looking at something like a Rally 260 or a Pure 260 from Delta, your whole inflation time up to 9 psi is going to be around about 3 minutes 26. With something like this, the biggest one, not biggest model, but something like a 390 with a Scenic, realistically looking around about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, more probably 4.5 minutes to sort of pump it fully up from flat and ready to go. But you can see the volume gets into it really quite nice and easily, but there's the pressure. And there we go. So we now cut off 9 psi. It's blinking at me to let me know it's the case really quite nice and easily. That can just pop off. Now, like I said about the adapters, there are different adapters you can use in for Boston valves. So you've not only just got a normal kind of push fit, but you've also got one that can screw onto it. So that way, if the pressure is too much and it pops off, you can screw it on. But like I said, having the versatility of pretty much everything, you're good to go. And like I said, I can sit back, relax, have a beer or a cider or whatever you want to do. The awning's up, nice and solid and strong. And like I said, it's going to be a bit firmer with that than probably I would do with the manual pump. But on the whole, I think it's a really nice kind of unit. I think the additional features of kind of the storage, you've got obviously screw connectors as well, which from my point of view, I think is a much more thorough fitting. Means when you're using it time and time again, it just makes it more robust. You're not worrying about bending any of the hose part, which generally tends to be part of the issue as well. But certainly, if you want more information on kind of the Telta pump, you can always check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to our website. We've got more information on things like obviously the 110 litres per minute inputs, obviously cable length, the pack size of it, and all the other specs you can see there, as well as other little videos we have linked to it as well. And we also will list and sort of show photo again all of the adapters that you can look and what it's compatible with. So hopefully it's been very helpful. But even more questions, queries, by all means, let us know. Comment in the box below, or of course check us out at our website as well. But that's been our little video review on the brand new Telta Universal tent and awning pump. Hopefully we'll see you again soon in our next Attwoolls Outdoors video review.